I'm not convinced that any team has undergone a bigger transformation from the start, let's say from last year at this time to this year at this time, than the Washington Commanders. They have a new owner, Josh Harris, a new GM, Adam Peters, a new head coach, Dan Quinn, a new offense coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. They brought in 20 free agent additions, 13 of them on one-year deals. It's a complete rebuild and a complete makeover. Let's be honest. Washington's been a garbage franchise for years. The last time they had 11 or more wins was 1991. Okay? 1991. All right. Since 2017, 4 wins, 8 wins, 7, 3-13, 7-9, 7-9. You know, and one of the 7-9 years they won the division, but made the playoffs. But Washington has been pretty bad, and they've been pretty bad for a while. When you have a new owner and a new GM and a new coach and a new OC and a new DC, by the way, Joe Witt, first time defensive coordinator for Washington, as opposed to other guys who are more experienced, nothing's going to happen overnight. All right, so people say, oh, the Commander's going to be better, better. I don't expect that in September. I don't. There will be a learning curve for Washington with all of the moving pieces and moving parts compared to last year at this time. And again, we look for stability, especially in September. Betting NFL in September is about stable franchises, stable organizations, teams that know what they're doing and comfortable. Washington's not going to be that, I don't think, early on this season. The Commanders, it all starts with a number 2 overall draft choice, Jaden Daniels out of LSU. They're hoping that the number 2 draft choice is every bit as good as the number 2 draft choice last year when C.J. Stroud outplayed Bryce Young, who was a number 1 overall pick. Daniels, certainly at LSU, was pretty good. Marcus Mariota is a backup. Mariota, I don't trust him to win a game. Draft Driscoll, I don't trust him to win a game either. So honestly, Mariota's rough, and he's officially the number 2 right here. Daniels should start day 1 for Washington. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. They had the fewest rushing attempts in the NFL last year, which is because they were playing from behind pretty consistently. They bring in Austin Eckler from the Chargers. Brian Robinson's a pretty good back. The receiving room, it's all right. Terry McLaurin, he's a legit number 1. Jahan Dotson, number 2. You have a rookie 3rd rounder, Luke McCaffrey, who's likely to be number 3. Of course, Sam Howell was sacked 65 times last year. And when you're not running the football and your quarterback gets sacked 65 times, it speaks to an offensive line problem. And, they brought in a couple of free agents, Nick Allegretti, Tyler Biadasz, but left tackle's a question. The whole offensive line's a question mark. 3rd rounder, they picked Brandon Coleman out of TCU. But this is an offense that had 32 giveaways last year, number 29 in the NFL. You say, oh, that's not going to happen again. But you look at the team, and on paper, rookie quarterback, dicey offensive line, that's a scenario for turnovers. And of course, again, will they be number 29 in the NFL, averaging nearly 2 giveaways a game? Wouldn't shock me. It's not a team that's poised from day 1 to be able to march the ball up and down the field. Not going to happen. There are too many question marks for this offense. Despite, again, there's talent. There's hope, which there hasn't been for Washington in many recent seasons. But I'm not going to look at this offense and say, yeah, they're primed to click. They're not primed to click. It will take some time. And we could see some signs from Washington this year. But offensively, this team averages 3 touchdowns per game. I'll be surprised. Talk about the defense and the schedule in just a minute. First, I want to talk about 2 things. First, if you like this betting content, give me a like. Done. Thank you. That's all I ask. Likes make all the difference. And the YouTube algorithms, they make a huge difference. So if you like this free early NFL betting content, all I ask is give me a like. If you want to comment, that's great. I love to read and respond to the comments. I'll be back throughout the summer months looking and responding to what you've been saying in the comment section. I appreciate the comments. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the Wager Talk YouTube channel, more than 160,000 of you are subscribed. Join them. And of course, second thing I want to talk about here, my NFL season win report. I've been doing it since 2001. And during that 23-year span, I think it's 23 years, it's 24th, whatever. The first report came out in 2001, prior to the season. 100 wins, 50 losses, 3 pushes. All documented. Visit the website, wagertalk.com. You can ask for the list, and they'll show it to you. or they'll send it to you if you like, every play, every year. 67% long term. The 5% big tickets, 16-4, 80%. Last year we had Green Bay, over 7.5 wins. Sweat early, got there. It was the right side. And that's what we look for with the big tickets. I think this year's big ticket has equal right side potential. You get that report right now, wt.buzz/TC. That's my page, or visit the website, wagertalk.com, and take $20 off using promo code REPORT20 at checkout. Again, $20 off the 2024 NFL season win report with a 67% lifetime track record. Just use promo code REPORT20 and get $20 off this year's winning report. 5 plays in it, and I may add more after week 2 or week 3 of the preseason. We'll have to see what the markets do and how some of these teams look when August rolls around. But right now there are 5 plays in the report. If I add additional plays, you'll get those for free, of course, if you purchase the package. So, Dan Quinn was the defense coordinator in Dallas last year. And, I mean, he was brilliant. The Cowboys' defense made the team. Well, now he's a head coach. Oh, why am I talking about Dan Quinn as head coach in Dallas? Well, now he's the head coach in Washington. Obviously, someone who we admire as a coordinator, the head coach track record. Hard for me to get the Falcons out of my mind in that regard. But, you know, he brought the Dallas secondary coach to be his DC, and Joe Witt Jr. will be his first year, first time. They signed 6 free agents on defense, all projected starters. Elite defensive tackles. All right, Jonathan Allen, Darren Payne, number 2 pick, Jerzon Newton out of Illinois. That's a solid defensive front. All right. The edge rushers are there for Washington, in theory. Second rounder, Mike Sanristel. He's going to help the secondary. But this defense allowed scores on an NFL worst 47% of opposing drives last year. That's an ugly number. 47% of opposing drives ended with points. So even with a defensive-minded head coach and some solid defensive tackles and some money and energy put into the secondary, this ain't a good defense. If they're mediocre, you can consider it to be a success. And again, when you have 20 new free agent additions, 13 of them on one-year deals, they know this is the beginning of another rebuilding process in Washington. I'm not expecting this team to turn around overnight. We look at NFC East schedule this year. They're going to face the AFC North, a tough division, and the NFC South, a relatively weak division. There are 3 extra games for Washington at Arizona, Chicago, and Tennessee. That's not brutal. They get 9 home games, only 8 on the highway. That's certainly a positive sign. And their schedule is really weak early. All right, they could start decent. Tampa, the Giants, Arizona, Carolina, Chicago, at the Giants, Pittsburgh, Tennessee. That's all before the bye. So there's some hope for Washington early on in the campaign. They feel to me like a 5 or 6 win team. 7 win upside. They do not feel like anyone is going to be close to contending. I don't think they're 500. But again, that's where they're lined. They're lined as one of the bottom feeders in the NFL. If you're a Commanders fan, I know it's been a long, ugly road since Joe Gibbs left town. This year, not likely to be a whole lot better. So, again, if you like these season previews, check out the next one. All 32 NFL teams posted right here early July. WagerTalk.com's YouTube page. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate the follows. We appreciate the comments. Use Report20 at checkout to get $20 off my NFL season win reports. All right, next one coming. Thanks for watching Wager Talk TV.